Boom. Welcome to Corporate Chatter, where finance meets finesse. I'm your host, Olivia Rodriguez.
And I'm your co-host, Gabrielle Rodriguez, or Gabby Rodriguez.
And we are bringing you weekly insights on money, careers, and style that matter.
I can't believe you remember that every time. That's insane. On board today, Mr. Shannon Stewart, a credit union legend. He's famous to us. He's a VIP. He's a credit union leader, and he's been, oh my gosh, you've been in the industry for a very long time, sir, right?
Yes, since October 20th, 1997, I took my first collection call.
Oh my gosh. So we're excited to have Shannon on board. He's also, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a board member at the UCC as well, correct?
Yeah, board member of the United Creditors Connect. We have our upcoming conference August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the wonderful, beautiful Venetian Hotel and Casino. So we're excited.
I'm excited too. We'll be there. Well, not Olivia, but I'll be there. And maybe someone else. Maybe we'll rope our CEO into it. But yeah, we're excited. Anyways,
I'll start us off. How did you get into the credit union space, and what led you to your role?
So funny, I didn't start off in the credit union space. So those of you that know me or have heard me, you've heard the story a number of times. I started off in the consumer finance space. 20 years old, I worked for Wells Fargo Bank, taking collection calls for an auto finance group. And it was strange because, I did this for a while and, it went great. And then I transitioned to a home improvement division for Green Tree Financial. Those of you that were in this space back in the late 90s, remember Green Tree, then it was Green Tree and Mill Creek, and then Mill Creek and GE Capital. So I did a bunch of that. And in 2004, get this, 2004, I decided to move to California. I'm a California native. Moved from Arizona to California, and I worked at Connecta. And I got hired as a dialer administrator. And so a lot of people don't know this, that my background is in the predictive dialing telephony space. I spent a lot of time building call centers and doing all of that. And in 2005, I left the credit union space swearing I'll never come back again. Matter of fact, I said, I'll never even do collections again. I was done with collections. I was like, this is it. And my wife was like, you'll come back. I was like, no, I will not. The devil is a lie. And so I said, I'll never come back, never do collections again. And in April 30th, 2015, found out my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer and I was out of work. And so I spent 2 calendar years out of work and ended up the fintech that I worked for, that I was a founding director of, they ended up being my largest supporter of our nonprofit. We did an event there to pack bags for the homeless. And I met a guy that said, hey, I don't know if you're looking to get back in the collection space, but Schools First is hiring. They reached out, and in 2017, July 9th, rejoined the credit union space. And here's where I've been ever since.
What makes credit unions so awesome, and what are they offering right now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a great sense of uncertainty, right? So you have a lot of credit unions that's paused lending, a lot of credit unions that's working to tighten, lending requirements and lending guidelines. Mm-hmm. But those that are working to really help their members are looking outside of the box, whether it's rapid loans, loans that they can provide members based on relationship. There's a number of credit unions doing that. Hey, we'll give you $1,000 loan for short-term emergency expenses. No credit qualifying, just based on your relationship with us. Hey, we'll go back through and we'll look at consolidation loans that may reduce your overall spending by, consolidating all your credit cards. So it'll be, one large dollar personal loan, one payment. It'll improve your credit score. Those type of things are things that credit unions have the unique ability to offer and the flexibility to offer that banks and other institutions may not offer.
But why is it so important for younger folks to open up a checking account as like a young adult, or even like preteen, or even before that? And I'm assuming it's having to do with credit, but I'm assuming there's other, advantages as well.
Well, as you know, I oversee a nonprofit organization, Helping Hands, Giving Hope, and we do a lot of financial literacy is a key component of what we do. One of those 4 squares of what we do. But what we're seeing today is, again, I'm 48 years old, so I'm a bit long in the tooth. You ladies are young. But I remember what it was like to get my first job at Wells Fargo Bank. Even before that, I had a job in high school where I worked for the school district at 17 years old. And I remember going to Wells Fargo Bank. I remember opening up an account and having a checkbook and a ledger where I had to write things down. It gave me a sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
But it gave me a sense of ownership, of being responsible for, my own financial future. I think what my fear is my fear is that our younger people, because a lot of these things aren't taught in schools, a lot of these, particularly with students that are from less affluent areas,
Yes.
You might not have this information available to you. And as a result of not having this information available to you, it puts you in a disadvantage as you get later in life because you don't know how to handle things.
Well, like how early, I guess, would you say is like should someone start like, getting educated or, asking these questions? Would you say like 12 or is?
Yeah. I mean, middle school, I got a sixth grader and we talk about these type of things all the time.
Yeah.
Like I had this discussion with my daughter a month ago because they go to Vegas for a tournament and Olivia would understand this in July. Right. And so she goes, I need a new pair of shoes. And I was like, well, I'm not buying a new pair of shoes. It's like March. And she was like, well, we're going to Vegas in July. And I'm like, I just bought you like 2 new pair of shoes. I'm not buying a new pair of shoes for Vegas in July when it's March. My teammates are getting new shoes. And so we went back and forth. She has no idea what things cost. And so I said, okay, send me the shoe size of the shoe you want. So she sends it. I go on Nike.com. I order the shoe. They send it, right? But she gave me the wrong size. And I am livid, like to the highest degree of anger. And she's like, well, I don't know, Dad. Just buy another pair. And I was like, okay, now it's time to have like a discussion here, a lesson. Let me walk you through how this works. And so it was that education of this is what things cost.
Yeah.
This is what we have to do to get things. This is what goes on in the acquisition of goods that you can physically handle in your hands.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, let me teach you about this. And then so now it's helping her understand this. And then sometimes if she asks, like, what do you do at work? And I'll walk her through it. This is what we do at work. So the wildest thing ever is that she's 12, my son is 16 now. And it was walking them through the idea of a repossession of a vehicle where she was like, wait a minute. You're telling me that you'll go out and take a person's car back. And I was like, yes, it's called repossession. It's in their possession. And then we're repossessing it back, taking it back to us. She was like, had no idea. And then my son's like, okay, well, let's talk about like how this works because he's working to be an engineer. He's a sophomore in high school. So he likes to know the how of things. Yeah. He's like, so if this happens and this happens, and if this happens, and then that, I'm like, yes, that's how this works. Exactly. So education is key because I can't tell you how many people that I talk to or my people talk to that they have no idea of the things that lead up to their ultimate financial demise.
And I know you're a busy man. So I wanted to ask how you're able to balance the credit union world and your nonprofit world. And I know you're going to ask your follow-up question to this.
Yes.
But like, how are you able to give so much to the credit union space and then also give so much to your nonprofit?
I operate on things that I'm passionate about. So I'm passionate about helping people. That's why the credit union space is such a perfect fit for me. That altruistic mission of helping people in every single capacity, it spills over to every area of life. I think it's the credit unions align with my mission of being able to help people, to being able to help people genuinely and to work with good people.
Yeah.
I always say this, and I think I talked about this briefly earlier, that at the point when I don't feel the credit union space is good and noble, then I'll have to go do something else.
Yeah.
But until then, I remain in the credit union enthusiast.
How do you balance work life and family life, Shannon?
So I will say this honestly, is that early on I didn't do a good job balancing that. And I think, oftentimes when I look at a lot of the stuff that I do on the nonprofit space, I sit on the board of the YMCA, I sit on the board of Meals on Wheels and the African American Credit Union Coalition. I run my own nonprofit. I got kids who are in competitive sports and you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Now I figure out what am I passionate about and how do I involve my family into that? So Helping Hands Giving Hope is not something I do. I mean, it's something that our family does. We always talk about the 3 T's, time, talent, treasure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell people that there's Okay, I'm gonna tell you. It's time, talent, treasure, testimony, ties, trust, and transparency.
That's awesome.
My biggest gift is my time, but it's also my talent. And then the treasures that I have, if it's financial resources. I always tell my son, your network is your net worth.
Olivia's not really met you personally like I've met you, but you're a good example of a hard-working family man that does so well in your career, but that also gives everything in your nonprofit and in your personal life, and you're able to do.
I don't know if I do it all. Yeah, I don't know if I do it all, but I do the best I can do.
It looks like you do.
I do the best I can do, and then I pride myself on trying to be a hub for people. And so if I can, at the point where I can introduce people to people, you're a friend of mine. So we're not just work colleagues. And so I think I've tried to prove this. If there's people in my network that you should know, my network should be your network, right?
Yeah, likewise. We feel the same. Okay, last question. Who are you rooting for? Thunder or Pacers?
I'm a diehard Laker fan. I tell people you can't serve two masters. And so, I don't root for any of them,
Really?
But it would be great to see Oklahoma City win something.
It would.
Because. But I like Tyrese Halliburton because he is the underappreciated. What are people calling him? Overrated? Like he's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be cool to see either teams win, but they both never won a championship. Right? I don't think they've not won. And I know the Thunder, historically, they've been bad teams, but I know the Thunder's had a good couple of years. So I think to your point, it would be awesome to see them win and reap the fruits of their labors for the last.
The Thunder, I liken them to this as we talk about credit unions. They're a credit union that came in small. They didn't go out and acquire a lot of large credit unions. They just kind of built organically. They're out in the community. They're getting people, the teacher down the street. And then they become like this perennial giant, almost like a Schools First. That's how Schools First grew, just like way organic. Yeah, just way organically. That's what the Oklahoma City Thunder's like.
That's a good analogy. We got to keep that and put that in the podcast. We're going to keep the whole thing. But that we got to keep. That was really good. Yeah. Shannon, it's an absolute pleasure every time we get to chat with you. You are seriously one of my favorite people. I thank you so much for being our first guest.
Olivia, it was great meeting you. I hope to see you on the court soon.
Man, the Dodgers right now, they're playing okay.
And you're wearing blue too.
I am wearing blue for
I love it.
Dodger blue.
Dodger blue.
The Dodgers are playing okay. I mean, what the heck happened yesterday? They lost against the Cardinals, and then they won again against the Cardinals. So they really need to keep their strategy going.
I know.
Or improve it because they're slacking right now.
We need to send a letter to the coach.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do better.
And what, they lost to the Yankees?
Yes.
And they lost to the Mets? Come on, you guys. 2 New York teams.
Back to back. Oh my gosh, it makes me sad.
It makes me so sad. It's okay. It's still early on this season.
It's still early on.
But baseball's got another I don't even know how many more months.
6 months.
I'm not more sure. And then basketball. It would be cool to take a poll. Who are Pacer fans and who are
OKC fans?
Yeah, who love the Thunder. We were just chatting with Shannon Stewart, our guest for the day. Couldn't think of a word. And he didn't pick a side, but I want people to start picking a side. Well, I guess he picked Thunder.
Well, yeah, he kind of picked Thunder. I'm more myself, nobody. I'm a diehard Laker fan. So.
Yeah. I mean, if either one, it would be awesome. They're both historically been, not underdog teams. Yeah. Anyways.
That's it for this episode of Corporate Chatter. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to check us out on YouTube. And remember, stay sharp and keep the chatter going.
Subscribe. Check us out next podcast next month.
Bye, guys.